Hey friends, welcome back to Timberborn. First of all, thank you very, very much to everyone who watched the previous episode and especially to people who left comments. And for the name suggestions, they were great. So I went around renaming all the beavers. So welcome Barracuda, Bart, Bartholomew, Belinda, Benedict, Barry, Bertha, Bindi, Bono, Brett, Brenda, Brittany, and Baby Beelzebub. That's not going to be an issue, right? To have a Beelzebub in our colony. This should be fine. This will be a nice little beaver. Anyway. So first off, I want to draw your attention to the upper right corner of the screen, where we now have the entire screen visible. So last time I talked a little bit about the day-night cycle and the working hours, but it wasn't visible, so here we are. This is how many hours they work, and we can increase and decrease, and you can actually see a little cyan indicator moving around to show us visually how big a part of their day is working hours. And then the yellow is daytime, the bluish, blackish color is nighttime. So we can see when it will be night by this indicator, and we can see when the beavers will stop working and have their leisure time, I guess. And while we're in the top right corner, something I didn't talk about last time, here we can see the weather forecast and which cycle and day we are on. And the cycles are basically like seasons. You can see here it's temperate weather. So these will sometimes turn into droughts and in the, I don't know, the horrible water season. But we will get a heads up before they arrive, so we have a little time to prepare. So that's about the upper right corner. Something else I forgot to mention while I was rambling on about other stuff. I said something about discussions how large these guys are, and it looks to be proportional, right? I mean, we see landscape, we see trees, we see a beaver. It's maybe it's a little large if you imagine this is like a giant pine tree and this is a beaver. But it could be a small pine tree, right? But this is already a small indication that the beavers might be a little oversized in this new environment. But then we have something else. We actually have these. And these are ruins. And as you can see here, it says, scattered throughout the land, decrepit human ruins provided beavers with the unimaginable. A good superior to wood. Well, we'll see about that. I'm not convinced. But if we look at these are, so this is essentially human buildings. So these would be like skyscrapers. But they are the same size as the blocks in the world. So this is one floor, second floor, third floor, fourth floor, etc. It's the same size as the landscape. And then we suddenly realize if this is one floor, that will be like, what's a floor like? 2.5 meters, 3 meters, something like that? For one floor of a building. And then if we look at a beaver, and we look at, like, for example, a lodge, which is almost the same height as the landscape, then we suddenly start to realize these guys are like 2 meters tall. That's distressing. And that's how tall they are, but they are also, like if we look from above, this is the size of one cube. A beaver barely fits inside. I mean, you could fit maybe 4 beavers inside one of these cubes. But the ruins are single piles of cubes, so these would be like a single room, I guess, like a person. How many people can you fit in a room? Like 10 or something? These beavers are ginormous. And to be fair, beavers are pretty big. They're a lot bigger than you would expect, or at least when I first saw one in real life, it was a lot bigger than I expected from footage you see, like in documentaries and on photos and stuff like that. But not that big. But they have grown quite a bit in this new reality, I guess. But anyway, that's some, I guess, rectifications I wanted to do since the last episode. But for now, we'll just continue with our little colony. And the first thing I want to do is actually fix this, because the game really wants us to build medium warehouses and I build small warehouses. So let's go build some medium warehouses so we can advance the tutorial. And I was hoping I could still build them in here, but we can only fit one. I could do them next to each other here, but that's wasting farmland. We could do them to the sides of the houses. I want to keep the food storage and later on the water storage kind of close to the houses, so they don't have to walk as far to eat when they wake up or go to bed. But I also don't want to put them too far away from like the actual buildings producing the goods. Because it has to be carried all the way to the warehouse. Yeah, I think for now I'll just put them around here, and then we can move them later when we get the technology to move our houses and our storage up the hill a bit more. So let's leave room for another house. What's the size of a house? Okay. So then it could be... Let's leave room for a road as well. And we'll do it like this. And yes, we're wasting farmland, but it will be fine for now. And then I will actually put in that extra house. Just so we can start increasing the population a little bit. And we'll actually unpause the game so they can start building. So these will be berries, these will be carrots, and we'll tell this one to empty. So it won't accept new goods, and once this is built, they'll start moving these berries to the other warehouse so we can demolish these and put something else in their place. While I was renaming the beavers, I also increased the amount of builders, because it was only accepting 2, and now we're accepting 4, but we don't have enough beavers to actually completely fill this, so we'll have 3 builders for now. And what we could do, how long do these carrots build? 1.5 days, about-ish. We could actually pause these farmers, because there's 3 of them and they're not doing anything right now because they're just waiting for the carrots to grow. So if we pause them, they can just do other stuff, which basically means they'll be unemployed, but oh well. And now might be a good time to explain why we need to put these buildings relatively close, because what you see here, let's take this lumberjack for example. He cuts down a tree and then he puts the log into his own little storage. And it will stay there until it gets used or it gets moved to our log storage. But the moving to the log storage is actually done by the lumberjack himself. So once this fills up a bit more, he will start carrying logs all the way along this path to this storage. Which is fine. But all the while he is carrying those logs back and forth, he is not chopping trees, of course. So it's not very efficient. So that's why we have this little box prioritized by haulers. If we check this box, then any haulers we have in the game will move this or will empty this storage to a suitable storage first. We don't have any haulers at the moment, so it's no point prioritizing this. But we won't unlock haulers until later on. Oh, we actually have them unlocked them. Oh, I thought we needed science, but we do need... oh, I can't... Can I click? Yeah. We need planks. So we need 20 logs and 10 planks, but we're not making planks yet. So we need to start producing planks first before we can build a hauling post. And it says here, haulers assist workers within a district in carrying goods, greatly increasing their productivity. So the haulers can actually carry more than a worker could. And they save the worker from the walk back and forth. But it requires beavers, right? It requires workers, so we need unemployed beavers. And I mean, we have 2 unemployed beavers right now, but that's how should I call it, like virtual unemployment, because this farm will need 3 workers soon, so we're actually still 1 beaver short. So we could build a hauling post now, but we can't actually man it. So, hey, achievement. Reach average well-being of 4. Nice. So the hauling post won't really help us. So it will be a while before we can get haulers that will actually help our worker. And there we go. He's taking his 2 logs to the storage right now before he will start chopping another tree. And right now, that doesn't really matter that much because he... Oh, wait, 1 tree just grew. Okay, so he could have chopped down a tree. I was gonna say there's no trees for him to chop, but oh well. But yeah, because it will be a while before we can get those haulers going, I want to try and keep the distances between the actual production building and their storage relatively short. That's why I put the water tanks right next to the water pumper. You saw him take him some water to the storage just there. And that will just keep him working more and walking less, because we do need to fill up those storages in case a dry season comes. Okay, and let's see what the tutorial has in store for us. Housing. Build 6 lodges. Okay, well, we're almost there, so we're well on our way. More advanced buildings require power, and beavers like their power to come from the river. Place a water wheel in flowing water along the riverbank. Okay. So, the planks I was just talking about, they want to have us start on that. And we can actually see the river flows at different speeds. And it seems to be flowing relatively quickly around here-ish. So I think a water wheel around here would be... It actually tells you how much power it will produce. 180? I think that's the highest flow. Yeah, let's go for 180. And right now it's telling us it's too far away from a district to build, so we need to get our path closer to here. And this has made me realize the farm might not be in the best place. I think I'm gonna actually demolish some of their crops. like that. And also these trees. And our builders will come along and remove... They are lost, so we are wasting stuff by doing this. But I think it's worth it for now to make this a little prettier. And then we can have our path all the way over here. Because we're gonna need a road over here for the building that makes the planks anyway, so I think it's worth it to invest a little time and effort in making this a bit tidier. And I'm actually gonna demolish this as well. And actually we're gonna remove this one. And we'll have our path along here. And we will replace the lumberjack over here. Are you gonna start building now? Wait, no, why aren't you removing this tree first? You did it 81% of the way and then you stopped. Why? Why? And we're gonna make the carrot field a bit prettier as well. Actually, let's just destroy this tree as well because I'm too impatient. Don't want to wait for it to grow up and then harvest it. This one empty. Okay, so we can demolish these two to get a couple more logs back. We can use those for our new building projects. And I'm gonna unpause the farmer. Just so we can harvest these carrots when they're done in the morning. Oh, and one thing you can also do, like I told about with the priority system for building, you can actually do that for workplaces. So I put the farm and the water pump on high priority. So we should always have beavers working in them. Then I put the scientist on second high because it's kind of important we get our science going early in the game. And then the other jobs are just like neutral. So if we don't have enough beavers, they will redistribute themselves depending on the priority. Which also means that although Bartholomew is a scientist right now, and thank you for that name suggestion, Larenthal, I can't guarantee that he will always be our scientist, because if they switch around jobs because there's not enough beavers, or I think they also moved jobs like closer to home, which doesn't do anything right now because all the homes are in the same place, but it might do later. It could be that someone else will start working here, but we'll try to keep Bartholomew as our scientist as long as we can. We're having a lot of beavers born. Oh, let's see, 2 grew up, 1 born grew. Oh, Beelzebub has grown up already. Ah, demons grow up so fast. And we have 2 new babies. We have 3 babies now. Yeah, so these will all have like regular Timberborn names, I guess. So keep the name suggestions coming because we're gonna need a lot of them. It wouldn't surprise me if our colony reaches like 100 beavers at some point, and beavers also die and get born, so we're gonna go through a lot of names. Yeah, farmers are planting the new carrots, that's good. We probably have less builders now. No, still 4, okay. Oh, we actually have an unemployed beaver. Ah, okay. That's good because we'll need someone to start making planks soon. Oh, this needs 50 logs. Whoosh, okay. Gonna be a while before this is finished, I think. But yeah, this also demonstrates what I talked about in the first episode, that they work in the priority you put them to work. So I placed down this water wheel before I said these had to be demolished, so as soon as they have logs to build, they'll work on the water wheel before they work on deconstructing these. Yay, our carrots are growing. Oh, look at our little farmers working hard, harvesting the carrots. These are giant carrots as well, by the way. And they'll replant them immediately afterwards. So we'll get a nice sort of rotation growing, because right now we had to wait 4 days and then we get all the carrots and then we won't have carrots for another 4 days. But because they slowly work through the field and immediately replant, at some point you will get like a sort of continuous harvest. So pausing them like I did before shouldn't be necessary after a while, because they will just always have something to do. So we might have to make the field a bit larger at some point just to keep that workflow going, I guess. So we'll have continuous carrots until we get like a dry season and the carrots stop growing, of course. But working on this last tree, so that's good. We can plant our final carrot. And we can finish our road. Oh, almost finished. Ah, nice. Thank you, Bindi. And I'm not sure, I don't think we'll need another road over here, because I think we're gonna have to transfer the power over, and then we'll have our plank building over here. Wait, can we see how big that is? The lumber mill. Yeah, so that fits pretty neatly over here. And then we will put in storage for the planks as well. I'm not sure if they go in a warehouse or in a pile. See. No, I don't see any planks in here. So I'm guessing they go in a pile. Yes, okay, so piles are for sort of construction resources and warehouses for food and processed resources. Fair enough. Yay, we have our water wheel. Okay, build a lumber mill directly next to the water wheel. You may also build it further away and connect it to the water wheel using power shafts. That's what we're gonna do. Many buildings pass power to one another when placed wall to wall, and that's good to know. Okay, so we'll place our power shaft right there, and it will connect our water wheel to our lumber mill. Also done with this one. Yeah, so we had a kit. Wellbeing, build a campfire, and this is what we're doing here. Okay. We can build a campfire, they can have some relaxing time together. I was hoping it would fit in here. They can relax over here for now. We're gonna have to rearrange a lot of this later on, but since it's still early game, we'll just place it relatively close to each other and where it fits. We need a lot more logs, but they're not growing fast enough. We do have 35 science, or more than 35 science, so I think I will unlock our forester. You sure? Yes, I'm sure. And that costs 7 planks to build, so it will be a while before we can actually build this thing. But I am gonna build it over here, and the trees actually need green area to grow as well, so... Where can this guy reach? All the way over there, but that won't really help us. I'm trying to decide if it's worth it to place it further up here, so it will reach more along this coast, but that's very far away for our lumberjacks, so I'm not sure if that's worth the trouble. We could place it over here. And then have our path... Is this a straight path? It is. Okay, cool. So once these two grow and are chopped down, we can extend the path, and then we'll move the lumberjacks next door to our forester, so they can reach the entire area. Are these marked for cutting? Yes, okay. And then we'll move this one... Oh, actually it's in the brown, so we might leave this where it is. Our log storage. Okay, so let's forward time a little bit because we've given them a lot to do. Let's just watch them work for a little bit, cutting down trees, getting all the logs. Ah, the lumber mill is now finished, but it needs power. So we need to wait for the power shaft to be finished, and I think, yay, there they go. Okay, so this now has power, and it actually tells us the power supply is 180 horsepower. Current demand is 0 horsepower because there's no one working here. Yeah, build a campfire. Oh, look at our little kids enjoying time off without a fire, of course, because they need adult supervision to make a fire. I think. Okay, we built a campfire. Wellbeing increased around decoration. Build a shrub, okay. And we built a lumber mill. Build a forester, okay. I'm constantly like a half step ahead of the tutorial, but that's fine. We can build a shrub. And I think this works, like if they spend any amount of time in those orange tiles, they will get the benefit. So if we put one here and here, I think they'll all walk past it when they're going to sleep. So they should all enjoy the sight of a little shrub on their way home and to work. So that should push our well-being slightly again. Because we are now at average of 5. Oh, we also have the carrots, of course. Yes. Anyone... Oh, this one made a campfire without supervision. Oh, no. Ah, there we are. Getting around the campfire. Talking about their day. Hard at work. Pumping water, building buildings. Now they're all going for a drink. Farming, stories about carrots. You know, the important stuff. And then they can all go to sleep. And hopefully build some shrubs tomorrow. We'll fast forward a little bit more and have them... Oh, I was gonna say spend the entire night at the campfire, but no, they went to sleep. We're doing good on the carrots. We're actually filling up our storage. And you can actually see up here how much we have of each resource, so you can manage it at a quick glance. So we can see we have 70 berries, 95 carrots, 168 units of food in total. And our logs are constantly at 0 because we are just waiting for trees to grow. Like naturally, we're not replanting anything. So it might be a while before we get this forester going. Especially since we need to wait for someone to grow up to actually work in the lumber mill. Ooh, wellbeing 6. I think, was there like new benefits? Ooh, this one has 7, Bartholomew. Yeah, so he has a 20% faster working speed, 5% faster moving speed, and 20% extra life expectancy. That's great. We're already getting some beavers who are going to be a little older just because of how nice our colony is. That's good. Oh, it's because we have the shrubs in. Nice. Oh yeah, they're congratulating us on building the shrubs. Oh, select a beaver and check its need. Okay. For beavers is the entire society that counts. You can see your settlement's average well-being at the top left corner of your screen. Click on it to see the fulfillment of all possible needs. Oh, wrong one. We were here just a minute ago, but that's fine. Set working hours to 16. Right, okay, I think somewhere in the tutorial it actually tells you to put it at 18. I immediately reduced it back down, so fine. Okay, so now we are waiting for the forester to be built, but that needs planks, and planks need logs, and someone working in the lumber mill. So we are now finally storing some logs over here. You can see we're getting some piles going, because we are not actually building anything at the moment. So that's good, because that will give us a little starting supply, I guess, for the lumber mill. So as soon as someone grows up, they'll have logs to work with. And again, haulers would be very useful here, because right now the beaver working at the lumber mill will have to walk all the way to this log storage to bring a log to the lumber mill and then make a plank, and then he can put the plank over here. So a hauler bringing logs from this storage to this lumber mill would be very beneficial for that process. But that's something for when our colony gets a little bit bigger, I guess. I don't think putting a path in here will make that journey a lot quicker. I'll just leave it at this for now. So basically we're waiting for a beaver to grow up and start working in the lumber. Oh, Makali just grew up, so maybe... Yay! He started working in the lumber mill. Okay, so this morning we should see someone working here. Let's slow down time a little bit. Let's wait for Makali. Okay, he actually brought a log with him right away, so that's good. And then the wheel starts turning. He's hard at work sawing this log into one plank. And actually you can see here the supply is more than 3 times our demand, so we could hook up some more buildings to this power wheel if we want to. And we might want to in the future. That does mean I'm now realizing that this storage is actually in a stupid position. So... Let's remove it, and I might put a small pile in here. I'm trying to decide if we want another water wheel. It won't fit here. It will have to be here. We could transfer power from here to here if we want like buildings on both sides. So the easiest way is to just build a building right next door because it will connect together. So I think I'll put it over here. And we'll do a small one because we don't need that much planks in the beginning. And I think we'll build like a large storage somewhere over here. Actually, thinking about that, we'll also put a small log storage over here. And that just means that this guy will have less distance to travel, so he can spend more time working. Wait, Brenda, you're a builder, right? Why are you carrying? Oh, you're carrying the planks to the forester, of course. I was like, why are you hauling goods away? But no, it's for the forester. Okay, let's fast forward a bit more so we can finish the forester. And I think that will be a nice milestone to end this episode. So we are at a semi-self-sustaining level, I guess. We have food, water, and we'll have trees on the go. Let's finish this path. And let's move these lumberjacks up a little bit. We can remove these. Oh, all the resources are in. It just needs to be hit with a hammer a couple times. So we'll wait for the morning and they can finish this building. And while they finish this building, we'll start planting trees. So we have birch, which grows... Ooh, okay, just a second. Which grows in 7 days, but only gives 1 log. We have pine, which gives 2 logs, but takes 12 days to grow. Chestnuts, which take 23 days to give 4 logs, but then 8 days after that, they'll give chestnuts, which we can eat. And it's the same with the pines, actually. They take 12 days to grow, and then 7 days later, they give resin, which we can use later. And then we have maples. They take 28 days for 6 logs, and then 12 days for maple syrup. And we have the oaks, which take 30 days, but will give 8 logs. So I think for this will be only for our wood production. So we won't plant maple or chestnut or for their fruits. We might plant pines just because they grow relatively quickly. Because these take 23 and 28 days for 4 or 6 logs, then we might as well wait a couple days more for 8 logs. So I think we'll do a mix of oak, pine, and birch. So we'll get birch for like really quick wood, and then pine will give us a little bit more for a tiny bit more patient, and then oak is like long term. It will take a long time to grow, but it will also give us a lot of logs. And your range was all the way up to there. Can you guys reach there as well? Yes. Okay, cool. So let's do oak. I want a lot of oaks because they take a long time to grow. No, don't plant them on the other side of the water. That's pointless. So let's do these oaks. And then we'll do a row of pines. Something like that. And then we'll get our birch going for like our very quick hit of wood, I guess. All the way up to there? Sure, why not? And we'll leave this space in case we want more water tanks or something. Yes, okay. And we'll leave this going for a little while. They can finish this building and then... Yay, we have someone planned. And I'll actually prioritize... Well, No, never mind. I was gonna say I'll prioritize the oak so they can start growing soonest. But I think they work in a expanding circle, so that's fine. He'll plant a mix of pine and birch first, and then he'll slowly start working on the oak, and we'll get some trees on the go. And some of the, like, normal pines started regrowing as well. So we'll still have a little wood. Okay, so that's done. We can finish this. We plant 20 birches. Okay, we're through with the tutorial. Nice. And then we're actually gonna pause right here and end on a bit of a cliffhanger with our first drought approaching. So the drought will hit in 3 days, and then the water will stop flowing for an unspecified amount of time, and we'll have to survive on our stored resources. So next time we will do some preparation for that, and we'll see if we can actually survive the drought, I guess. So thank you very much for watching. Enjoy the rest of your day, and see you next time. Bye bye.